So I made this video after a TikTok I saw, and it was talking about different skull shapes, and it was actually the angel skull versus witch skull video I put in this video, and I was just like, huh, that's weird. And I remember like looking up like my interest for the video and like talking about it was talking my research was talking about how they use skulls to determine race and intelligence back in like the 18th and 19th century to justify slavery. And I was like, oh, that's weird. What is it doing on TikTok? And that's what led me to make this video about white supremacy on social media and how white supremacy is implemented in everyday lives. So I got my title. I was inspired by the Baby Got Back song, actually, when she was like, her butt is so.
You should ask who taught you to hate being what God gave you.
Associated with black women. And that just shows how they demonize and sexualize black women's bodies, which also reinforces white supremacy. And that's why I wanted to make that my title. I thought it'd be interesting and would catch people's attention. So I start the video out and it's like a person swiping on TikTok, and I wanted to show that because TikTok is like a common social media many teens and young adults use, which is my intended audience. And I just thought that would be an interesting way to show the like video off, because some people might be confused on like what I'm talking about, but this is like a common occurrence everybody does. So I start off with this girl talking about beauty tips and like how to get pretty, or just like this is like a basic video somebody would see on TikTok. And then I go to this man talking about looks maxing, and that's geared more towards men, or like how to look better, how to like glow yourself up. It's just a different type of saying. And these are like common videos you would see on TikTok. And I just did that because I didn't want to like jump into, oh my gosh, but like it had to like gradually build up to what I was talking about. Then the third video I use is this girl trying to make her nose smaller. And as I said with my title, this kind of like demonizes features that aren't quote unquote, or like aren't Eurotypical or Eurocentric. Because basically, bigger noses are like, they are deemed unattractive according to like the white supremacy and the white beauty standards. And that just shows like it has 357.8K likes. So that means a lot of people are ingesting this and be like, oh, should I make my nose smaller too? And it just reinforces white supremacy because it's saying or proving that these features aren't beautiful and you need to do this, and it's popular, so you need to do this. So that's just what the algorithm is pushing towards people. And then the next video, I have somebody showing best products to lighten their skin. This is very common, especially in Africa and India. My research saw, like what I was just looking up. And basically, if you're lighter or fair skinned, you're associated with being better, richer, just like better overall. And this also reinforces white supremacy because, as we know, this notion came from like Eurocentric beauty standards. And then my last video, or my second to last video, is an elegant versus not elegant. This is usually pushed towards like young women, and it's like an aesthetic to look classy and presentable. But in this video, she's talking about hairstyles that are elegant and not elegant. Both, and in the video, it is all natural hairstyles that women would wear, and it's just crazy because you're saying somebody's hair that grows out their head is not classy. And I was just like, whoa, that's nuts, to say the least. But I was just like, this just pushes that um, black or people of color's features are not deemed attractive or presentable. It's not elegant, as she says in the video. And then the last TikTok I show is the witch skull versus angel skull. And this is showing like basically on how your face is laid out by your skull, which is something you can't change. You are deemed more beautiful or not beautiful. And as I said, this is what kind of perpetuated this whole video. And I was like, oh, that's insane. So basically, as the person is scrolling on the For You page, the videos get more and more extreme, and the white supremacy gets more and more apparent. And in that skull video, I put in between the images Some of the images I saw that phrenology and the craniology, which is like the study of skulls, used to prove that like black people were inferior to white people at this time because they compare like black people's skulls to animals such as like orangutans and monkeys. And then the second image is from, it just shows like, it says Greek skull versus Negro skull versus chimpanzee, and that just shows how they dehumanize black people to show that they're unintelligent. And then I go back to the regular TikTok to show that this is being implemented in people, even though it doesn't say like an animal or like you look like an animal. This is still being implemented in people's minds. And I end that part with the Hitler video to show like that is the most, Hitler is the most extreme example of white supremacy, because the Nazi ideals were trying to find the quote unquote superior rights, and that's where we got a lot of these notions from of white supremacy. And I wanted the videos to get more and more extreme, and the racism and the bigotry to get more and more apparent, because it's relevant in everything we see in social media and in our society. So even though it doesn't look like white supremacy is in our society, it's maybe very subliminal, and you need to know, or the people need to know what to look for, so they're not ingesting this and basically believing this through like subliminal messages. I then start the next part with text, and it syncs up with Malcolm X's speech, who taught you to hate. And I did this text part because I thought it would give the viewers' eye a break, because there's a lot of videos, it's a lot of movement, and I just thought it would sorry, it would give the viewers' eyes a break and like, just break it up. And then I have my friend Kennedy like playing with her hair, as Malcolm X says, "Who taught you to hate your hair?" And this is kind of like showing like the joy of like doing your hair, because like Kennedy is like actively participating in her hair. She's not like trying to cut it off in the video, but I wanted her to look like happy and stuff. And then the next part, it goes in, the Malcolm X says, "Who taught you to hate your nose?" And I used like different ethnicities, because I didn't want to say white supremacy only affects like certain people of color. It affects everybody. And it's important to say that, because even if you don't line up with like the Eurocentric beauty standards, you are still deemed imperfect according to these beauty standards. And then I also had the noses go in different angles on the face, because I just thought it would look cool. I thought it would be something different and keep the viewers' attention by adding movement to the images. And then I have like Dunye. In this part, it says, "Who taught you to bleach your skin?" At first, his skin's like glowing and it has this very warm light, and he's like smiling. And then when Malcolm X says, "Who taught you to bleach your skin?" It shows he's like more solemn. He's not as happy because he was taught to hate his skin. Because this filter actually is from TikTok, and this TikTok filter lightens your skin and makes your nose smaller. And I just also wanted to show like how the apps aren't built for people of darker skin tones or different features. So this also builds the white supremacy, because people of color aren't built with these apps in mind. This filter is lightening your skin. It's making you look very, very different. And then that just negatively impacts your mind in the real world. So you kind of get disillusioned of what you see on screen and how you think you should look in screen. But that's not what real life is. And then I end with Malcolm X's speech, because on the first part, I ended with Hitler's speech, and it like echoes at the end, and I wanted the echo because I wanted to sound like empty, like his words are empty, his words are like artificial, they're not how the world is. And I wanted to end on Malcolm X's speech, because his words are real, and what we should be doing as a society is loving ourselves and what makes us different. So I also end this part with the applause, because I want to show that the diversity is what makes us beautiful, and you can't let this get in your mind, because it will definitely negatively affect you. And Malcolm X's whole notion, like in juxtaposition of the Hitler ideals or the Nazi ideals, which is like you have to change yourself. If you're not like this, you gotta like basically die. If you're not like this, you gotta die. But Malcolm X is saying what you are is beautiful. You need to find your true, authentic self to be your best self. And I just thought that was really powerful. And that's why I wanted to end my video on Malcolm X, because he's a powerful speaker, and he changed the world in like how communities see themselves. So yeah,